Kahalayimla, Alahainao Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, Wa Malakia Bahashem Harawat Wakakorash Barakatham, the Wada Baba Wakwam Yasharala. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who teach us daily, and to the men out there teaching the lightwise doctrine, I say, Ye Shalom. Today we're going to get into a video whereas there's this talk show. You got two Edomites on there, and they're discussing how the military goes above and beyond destroying the earth. Now, this is nothing new, but they putting a heavy emphasis on the fact that it's not that the military is destroying the earth, which they are, but they're destroying the environment. They're purposely poisoning everything. Now you got to ask yourself, why would a superior race of people poison themselves? Because they're not superior. These people are running on emotion. They are so afraid of not being on top, they're willing to eliminate all competition. Esau does not like competition because he knows he will lose. That's why he rigs the game of life and he doesn't allow certain key players to play, aka Israelites. But that's cool though, because the Lord is about to take him out of the judge's seat. He's about to remove this man from power and put him back at the bottom where he belongs because he's unfit to rule. You don't deserve power if this is what you do with it. You destroy everything and lie about it. You don't deserve any power. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Before that, let's get this copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Let's go ahead and get the video. The name of this video is How the U.S. Military, where it says how the U.S. military poisons people abroad and at home. See, these superior people, they poison themselves. That's not what superior people do. Superior people, they advance a nation, they excel. They don't digress. They progress, they don't digress. This is Esau's madness and insanity. Let's go ahead and get the video.
So what is it that propelled? It's a great film, and we got to make sure we tell viewers how to link to it. But what is it that propelled you to kind of look at the military from this angle?
I think for a lot of us who have been witnessing the ecocidal nature of U.S. imperialism and the destruction that it brings around the world, it's been so obvious for so long that when you destroy landscapes, when you mass murder people, those toxins, the carcinogens that are unleashed from the constant bombing, the pulverization of concrete, this carbon dense material that we've seen in Gaza, it's so obvious, Chris. You know, I've always been an environmentalist. And so, as an anti imperialist journalist, it's always just been such an obvious link. And I was always so curious why no one had synthesized this material, and not just the emissions, but the totality of this gargantuan subject, because it's not just emissions, it's really everything. Every base is a story of not only legacy contamination, but ongoing contamination with the waves of militarization that we see today. So I was really upset that this wasn't a mainstream issue, that this wasn't incorporated in the narratives with mainstream environmentalism. And instead, you saw people like Elizabeth Warren talking about greening a global military empire, which we know is completely unsustainable and uninhabitable with the viability of a planet that sustains human life.
Well, and they don't just poison those abroad. I remember the bombing in Bosnia when I covered the war, and in those craters nothing ever grew because there was uranium. Those were uranium depleted munitions. I drove on my way to Basra, where I was eventually captured by the Iraqi Republican Guard, up the highway of death. It was coated in white dust from Iranian depleted munitions that, of course, sickened and killed many of the service members who had to go clean it up. But you also talk about Camp Lejeune, that these poisons are in that sense the military is non-discriminatory. They're quite happy to poison their own as well. And we didn't even talk about the trash dumps in places like Iraq.
Exactly. I mean, you look at something as cynically exploited as the 9/11 first responders. I mean, these were lauded as the heroes of 9/11, slapped over all of the propaganda to activate that reptile brain after 9/11. And what was done to them? Basically left to die. I mean, denied healthcare every step of the way. These are the 9/11 first responders that were digging through the asbestos-laden toxic dust. So of course, the service members are completely expendable in the eyes of the ruling class and the military brass. I mean, every base is a story of toxic dumping with the soldiers as the lab rats. We saw this during the waves of irradiation with nuclear, the extractivism with the Cold War. I mean, using literal US soldiers as lab rats with the nuclear testing. And today, the burn pits. And of course, you mentioned Camp Lejeune. This was the worst water contamination event in American history. And for years, the military command was dumping intentionally toxic chemicals and lying about it. And then, of course, this is their modus operandi. They deny claims, they deny the existence of the toxic dumping until it's inevitable, until it's undeniable, and then they'll just basically dole out these claims with such an extreme delay that a judge today said it will take 100 years to basically look at every claim because they're trying to deny the class action lump sum lawsuit. So it's insane. I mean, this is a 50-plus-year-old story, and there's still people that are sick and dying because of this cover-up. And they've never been held accountable, and they've never properly remediated any of these areas, Chris. Most of the Superfund sites in the U.S. have either housed military installations or been used for military use. And they completely do not clean these sites up. They are left to rot and kill the people who live there. And this includes American citizens and service members.
Well, Camp Lejeune is a Marine Corps camp. It of course, not only sickened and poisoned the Marines, but their families. It was, and as you said, it was incredibly prolonged because the military denied it. Just give us kind of, you do explore it in the film, but give us the kind of details of just how callous that abuse was.
Yeah, this is a thing that people can look at and say, oh, they didn't know any better, right? It was a long time ago. They certainly didn't know the toxicity. They didn't have any safe alternatives. Of course they did. Similarly to PFAS today, they have safe alternatives. They don't need to use PFAS. They choose to, Chris. They choose to. There's always safe alternatives. There's always other things that they could be doing other than open burning, open detonation on all of these indigenous lands and desecrating these places. But when it comes to Camp Lejeune, this was a story that was happening for decades. I mean, they were dumping so much toxic waste because you look at just the maintenance of the military arsenal alone, the amount of toxic chemicals that are dumped into the ground in the open atmosphere just to clean these engine parts, to make these to make these engines mission ready to fly around in pointless patrols. So the amount of toxic waste that's accumulating every day, I mean, it's really unquantifiable. So the military was doing this, dumping the toxic waste into water wells at this Marine Corps base for years and years and years. So when the tests were done and they knew the wells were poisonous, instead of stopping the dumping, Chris, they continued. They continued for years and covered it up while Marines were drinking the water, bathing in the water. I mean, it was just like Red Hill, where they were literally bathing, cooking, cleaning in toxic water. And who died as a result of that? Of course, countless people. I mean, we're talking about 1 million people that were impacted by this, but the people who really were affected by this were the babies who didn't have the ability to deflect the carcinogens in their body. They didn't have the ability to do that. So we saw over 1,000 babies that were killed, stillborn newborn infants, Chris. One of the women who goes back to these graves sees 3 born and died gravestones of children. Every 2 years, this woman would have a stillborn baby and probably thought it's her. She didn't know to blame the military brass. They didn't know. There was no accountability. There was no information given. Still to this day, you have people, activists, who are going out with cards saying, did you know about Camp Lejeune? Hey, you might be affected by this. I mean, it's absolutely insane to think of the lives lost, the destruction wrought on the families there, and actually no knowledge of what happened. Think about how many lives were ruined thinking that's you. That's you. And there was no answers for these people.
See how unfit Esau is to rule? Just reckless, careless, no empathy. He moves like an emotional animal. Let's get some scriptures. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great. Listen to this. And shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Now, I could tell in that conversation they were still trying to give Esau the benefit of the doubt. No, all of this is very intentional. All of this is very wicked. This is what Esau does. What do we tell y'all? Stop expecting the wicked to be righteous. It's not going to happen. Look at Fauci. I don't mean to divert off the subject, but let's dip into that for a minute. How many times have we told y'all these people are lying to you? This shit is poison. But they got on TV during the whole Biden administration, him and Kamala lying ass. Trust the science. Trust the science. It's safe. It's safe. And what happened? This man then came on TV and he claimed the Fifth Amendment 111 times because he didn't want to lie. You don't have to say shit. People been know you was lying. Now he come out and admitted it that he made it all up. So what is Esau gonna do to punish this? He ain't gonna do shit. He gonna protect Fauci because they're all wicked, just like the elites are protecting the pedos, the Epstein class. This is what they do. None of this is coincidence. The wicked shall do wickedly. Let's get that. The book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, because the Lord programmed them to do shit like this. But the wise shall understand. Yeah, we understand. We understand that Esau was created to do wickedness. He was created to lie, destroy, murder, rape, steal. And at the same time trying to paint himself as being righteous. Boy, sit down. Let's keep rolling. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 21. Verse 10, the soul of the wicked desire evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. See? They desire evil. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 7, the robbery of the wicked shall destroy them because they refuse to do judgment. They don't punish their own for wickedness. Why? Because they would deem themselves being hypocrites because they're just as wicked behind closed doors. For example, look at all the pedo judges that got exposed. You think a pedo judge gonna give a pedo a proper sentence, or he's gonna get a slap on the wrist? They don't punish their own. That's why the nation of Edom as a whole is waxing worse and worse. They don't punish their own. You wonder why you can't control Trump? You let him get away with too much shit. Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof for not wearing. Who is he? That's why all this wickedness is allowed. It's not being checked because the wicked are in rulership. They're in control. So hell no, they ain't gonna punish their own. Why you think Trump pardoned all those criminals for January 6th? They protect each other. The criminals protect criminals, the wicked protect the wicked. And at the same time demonize the righteous. These people are insane. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 19. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. And the Lord about to put their candle out. James chapter 2, verse 13. Those that have shown no mercy shall have no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgments. Now you got to ask yourself, what kind of insane madman would recruit people for his military just to poison them? Insanity, madness. Esau, you need to be put out of your own misery. That's what it is. You need to be rescued from your own. You need to be rescued from yourself. That's where the Lord comes in. He's going to rescue you from yourself by putting you into captivity. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 59. Now, these scriptures are originally talking about two-third wicked Israelites, but you can apply this to Esau because this is where the two-third Israelites gets this wickedness from. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 4. None calleth for justice, nor any pleaded for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. Yeah. Verse 6, their web shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hands. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction are in their paths. The way of peace they know not, and there's no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. That's why all the other nations are just backing away from America's insanity. They figured out the only way to deal with the United States is to not deal with the United States. Psalm chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. That's why they lie about everything. That's their go-to. Get out of trouble. They either gonna lie their way out some shit or they're gonna murder their way out some shit. Those are their two go-tos. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 2. Yeah, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. That's what these two people, these two Edomites, was talking about. And a lot of people nowadays, I'm seeing an uptick of Edomites calling out other Edomites for wickedness. And it's like the elder said, their tongue is falling upon themselves. Let's get that one. They telling on each other. Psalm chapter 64, verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Exactly. Look at the other nations. They don't want anything to do with this bitch. These people are wicked, insane, and mad, and don't nobody want to deal with that. These are emotional, insane children. Nobody wants to be around that. Let's go to the book of Sirach. chapter 27, verse 24. I have hated many things, but nothing like him, for the Lord will hate him. Christians. Lord don't love everybody. Matter of fact, the Lord is about to show these Edomites and these other nations the same love they showed us. Now, if you want to call that love, so be it. But I can tell you this too. There is no hate like Christian love. Because all they do is teach love, 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 but all they show is hate, hate, hate. How you think Christianity was founded? How you think Christianity was spread? It was spread through violence. They held you at gunpoint and told you basically, you don't accept this lie and this false idol, we're going to murder you. Verse 26, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. He that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it cometh. Mockery and reproach are from the proud, but vengeance as a lion shall lie in wait for them. They that rejoice at the fall of the righteous shall be taken in the snare, and anguish shall consume them before they die. Malice and wrath, even these are abominations, and the sinful man shall have them both. The Lord is not going to let y'all get away with nothing. Matter of fact, He giving you plenty rope to hang yourself. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. We know these are not possible. That's why we know Esau cannot do good. He can't. Look at his track record. Matter of fact, I challenge all y'all out there to name one good thing Esau has contributed to the existence of this world. One thing he has contributed that was good. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? The answer is no, because Esau never had wisdom. And this is why. Let me get this scripture. Esau wasn't given wisdom. The book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 22. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. At any time, the counsel of sinners prudence. So just because you know how to do wicked shit doesn't make you wise. Actually, it makes you stupid. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, spoil mean rob, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. See all this intentional poisoning? Yeah, that's dealing treacherously. When thou shalt cease to spoil, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And that's what's happening right now. These other nations have decided to say F the United States. And who can blame them? Look at all the fuck shit the United States does. Let's go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Esau intentionally poisons everything and everybody and hold himself not guilty. I didn't do it. Well, see, these were circumstances that we couldn't avoid. He always got a word salad for an excuse, but guess what? The Lord is not dealing with word salads. He's dealing with your acts. He's dealing with your words that you spew. He's taking those two and coming up with your judgment, whether you be righteous or wicked. Let's get this one. Oh. Let's go to Book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse. Oh, that ain't what I wanted. It's in Job, chapter 27, verse 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with Yahweh and the heritage of oppressors. Wait, let me go back a little bit. Let's get all the meat off that bone. Let's go back to Job 27. Okay, Job chapter 27. We'll start at verse 12. Behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. Why then are ye thus altogether vain? That's Esau. He's very vain. This is the portion of a wicked man with Yahweh and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive from the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. That's why all the Edomite women, they don't feel sorry for Esau because they tired of him too. I'm seeing a gang of videos of Edomite women bringing out the truth about Esau, Edom. So yeah, the prophecies are popping off the pages. Their widows shall not weep. They starting to hate him too because all his wickedness is coming out, where it's been revealed. Now let's go to Isaiah chapter 28, verse 15. This is what Esau thinks. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death and with hell, or we had agreement when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. This is what he believes. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. So they're going to lie about everything. Verse 29, chapter 29, Salakia, verse 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? They still think ain't nobody owning them. When the prophets are literally telling you what you're about to do next. But the insanity and madness and pride of Esau forbids him to believe anything true, anything that's in the realm of reality. He doesn't live in reality. He lives in his own demented delusions. And the Lord is about to slap him back to reality. Proverbs. I think I got this one. Let me see. Yeah, we already got that one. But we can go to Ezekiel 35. Verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time of their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. So when you leave this world, he about to cut you out. You ain't coming back. And him that returneth, that means your reincarnation. You ain't gonna be reincarnating. The Lord's gonna get rid of you. Since you don't mind poisoning everything and destroying everything and murdering everything and lying about everything, the Lord finna return your recompense upon your own head. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Nahum chapter 1, verse 2. Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries and reserve wrath for his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. 2 Peter chapter 2. Verse 9, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. All you're doing is earning your judgment, but see, Esau is too dense to even realize that. He think he getting away with some shit. That's what he thinks. Verse 12, but these as natural brute beasts made to be taken and destroyed speak evil of the things they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. Look at Fauci. Is he not perishing in his own corruption? Second Ezra chapter 11. Came on TV and told all them lies just to walk them back. Goofy. Second Ezra chapter 11, verse 39. Are not thou that it remaineth of the four beasts whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? They're going to destroy themselves. That's not superior, B. You're supposed to be advancing humanity, not declaring war on your own citizens and then lying like you're not. Goofy. Verse 40. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he on the earth with deceit. But he think he's fit to rule. Okay. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, this man declared war on everybody. How the scripture says, for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. We could take their shit. We could take their shit. That's all he think about. Taking people's shit and lying about it. That ain't what I was looking for. We can get a couple more and close. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, though. Because the nation of Edom is a plague, man. Everywhere they go, they're disliked. They commit murder. They lie. They grape. They rob. They steal and destroy. Everywhere they go, look at everywhere they go, death follows. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, said the Lord. He finna cut y'all out of coming back to the earth. Because without an Edomite seed, you cannot bring forth an Edomite. And the earth is tired of Esau. The animals, the plants, the water, the air, the inhabitants thereof. Everybody's tired of Esau. But now this is the good thing. A lot of people, a lot of especially Edomites are coming out admitting that Esau is the problem. So now that we established that and got that out the way, what are you Edomites gonna do about your own people? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing because y'all waiting on us to fight for you. We ain't fighting nothing. We waiting on the Lord to come handle y'all. Because all you doing is waiting on the opportunity to false accuse and lie on people. No, that Satan's getting advantage of us. We're not ignorant of his devices. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. So we're gonna let the Lord deal with you, cuz. And see how you gonna rise up against him. Go to the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 10. Sneaky little devil. And said, O full of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil, thou enemy of all righteousness, wilt thou not cease to pervert the right ways of the Lord? The answer is no. Esau gonna lie until the Lord returns. That's what he's programmed to do. No, he ain't gonna cease to pervert the right ways of the Lord. Look at what he did with the church. Now you got alphabet pastors, alphabet members. They even got an alphabet version of the Bible that omits all pronouns. What kind of silly shit is that? How you know what the verse is talking about? Yeah, that's perverting the right ways of the Lord. And a lot of y'all gonna die in church, especially these alphabet churches. You're wasting your time. Let's get a few more. And everybody waiting on the Lord to destroy the United States and put these nations in captivity because the madness is just exhausting. Okay, we can end on the book of Micah chapter. Let's see what's well. Yeah, we can end in chapter Micah chapter 2. Verse 1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. They always doing sneaky shit. Look at the crates of ticks. They drop it on people land and then pretend act like they don't know shit about it. They ain't did shit. Yeah, that's working evil. Verse 2, and they cover fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. They doing that right now. They didn't pull the law out their ass called eminent domain just to take your land to build a surveillance center. Still taking land, still the same old land thief, still the same old rapist, the same liar, the same thief, the same murderer. Verse 3, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks. neither shall ye go haughtily, for the time is evil. And the Lord is going to bring that evil upon you. He already is. That's why Esau is uneasy. He can't sleep at night no more like he used to. Because he feel the Lord right. He feel the Lord creeping up on him. Because he feel his kingdom is going down more and more by the day. But I got some news for you, E. You better live it up while you can, because guess what? Every day that passes by, your kingdom gets worse and worse and worse for you. And every day that goes by, you draw more near to your captivity. Kahalayim la lahai now Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah Hamashiach wa Malaki by Hashem Harawat Wakakurash Barakathum the water Baba Bawa Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.